I now give the floor to the representative of Greece.
Thank you, President, and thank you, Deputy Special Coordinator Alvaro, for your briefing. At long last, a ceasefire is now in place in Gaza and the hostages are now free. Under President Trump's leadership and with tremendous international engagement, the participation of the Greek Prime Minister in the Peace Summit in Egypt demonstrates Greece's important commitment in the day after developments. A positive momentum now exists in Gaza. The world's gaze is now upon the full implementation of the peace plan. We call on all parties to fulfill their commitments, allowing for the establishment of a lasting ceasefire and the return of the remains of the hostages. This should pave the way to a comprehensive political process. The international community should ensure the Palestinians have full ownership in all aspects of the agreement, be it recovery, reconstruction, and governance. Meanwhile, the UN and its humanitarian partners must continue to scale up their operations on the ground, as outlined in their 60-day plan. Additional food parcels are being distributed and additional bakeries are now functional. However, far greater volumes are needed. We therefore call for the full, safe, and unimpeded flow of humanitarian aid and supplies into Gaza, as well as the restoration of full access to potable water and electricity for the civilian population. In this regard, we look forward to the reopening of the Rafah border crossing, which can greatly facilitate the inflow of humanitarian aid at scale across the Strip. The role of the UN and its agencies remains crucial and irreplaceable, as confirmed by the advisory opinion of the ICJ issued yesterday, notably the role of UNRWA, toward which Greece has consistently contributed and has recently increased its contribution as it advances along the implementation of the Colonna recommendations. Similarly, we support initiatives such as the Cyprus-led Almathea Maritime Humanitarian Corridor. They can effectively contribute to the direct delivery of humanitarian aid complementing land routes. Greece stands ready to contribute to the reconstruction of Gaza and the flow of humanitarian aid, as was stated by our foreign minister during his meeting with his Palestinian counterpart in Athens. At the same time, incidents over the past weekend have demonstrated that the ceasefire is fragile. Diplomacy has delivered. It is now up to the parties to uphold their obligations and demonstrate caution and restraint. The envisaged US-led International Stabilization Force provides for a promising prospect in support of peace. As the custodian of international peace and security, this Council is the appropriate body to mandate this force. Greece will engage constructively in relevant consultations on the next steps. President, the time has come to forge a path towards lasting peace and security based on the two-state solution. The international community reaffirmed its overwhelming support for the two-state solution at the high-level conference co-chaired by France and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia last month. Our sight is now fixed on the activation of the peace plan's second phase, one which can establish sustainable peace and prosperity in the region. We rejoiced at the sight of freed Israeli hostages embracing their loved ones. We now expect Hamas to comply fully with the terms of the agreement and proceed with the immediate return of all the deceased adhering to the terms. Under the peace plan, Hamas is given a chance to decommission the weapons and leave Gaza. The recent appalling footage of brutal public executions committed by Hamas as well as the skirmishes against rival factions in Gaza, make the issue of Hamas disarmament most imperative. It can have no role, direct or indirect, in the governance of Gaza. A viable alternative to its devastating rule in Gaza is sorely needed. A reformed and empowered Palestinian Authority, which Greece fully supports, is an indispensable and credible partner for peace. President, despite these developments, we cannot deviate our attention from the West Bank. According to the UN Human Rights Office, there is a clear increase of severe attacks by armed extremist settlers in the West Bank, 2 weeks into the start of the 2025 harvest. Settlement expansion and settler violence, including against Christian communities, are causes for grave concern. We thus reiterate our call for the preservation of the status quo of the holy sites in the Old City of Jerusalem. We further stress that announcements on the construction of additional settlements which undermine the two-state solution must be reversed. In conclusion, President, the Middle East, a region vibrant in its diversity and rich in its history, seems to be turning a new page. This Council needs to uphold its role and responsibility in seeing that regional peace is established, so that the peoples of the region may finally enjoy a future of stability, dignity, and hope. I thank you.
I thank the representative of Greece for her statement.